Welcome back to the channel. Today I am joined by the man himself, Will Fleury, fresh off his win over Krzysztof Jotko at PFL regular season 2023 just last weekend. And I could get used to this, Will. I think, yeah, we've been talking to you almost every second week now at this stage. I had the chance and the pleasure of talking to you in person. Unfortunately, we couldn't make that happen this time, but it's great to have you on, and I'm dying to hear about the whole experience as well. You're keeping well, I assume.
Yeah, good. Yeah, all good. Like, man, got it done. That's the main thing. So delighted with that. Like, and just delighted to got the win. Like, I feel like he was probably the trickiest of the guys I could have got in the first round. For my style, anyway, I feel like he was probably kind of the least suitable opponent, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But I was always confident I'd win. Just it was a much more fucking even fight than I wanted it to be. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get into the fight in just a moment because, like I said, I spoke with you the Saturday before you flew over the very next day after we did that in-person interview at SBG. You flew over to Vegas yourself and Kieran, and I just want to talk about that experience as well because a couple of things happened from when you arrived over. You went over to Xtreme Couture and you met up with Eric Nixick and a few of the guys in the gym there as well. Was that the plan all along? Was that why just Kieran traveled over with you? Were you planning on getting there and maybe getting a couple of the guys in that gym to go and corner you in the end? Because if anyone doesn't know, I guess Eric Nixick, Xtreme Couture, top of the range coach, coaching many fighters across all different organizations. He ended up in your corner last Saturday night as well, and seemed that you had a great experience there in Xtreme Couture and meeting a couple of the guys there as well.
Yeah, it was class, and no, it wasn't planned at all. The reason we ended up going down there was because Kieran. So Kieran is mates with Jake Shields just from grappling, and they've trained together in New York a few times, I think. And Jake messaged him when he saw that he was in Vegas, and was like, "Oh, call down," or maybe beforehand, even when he knew he was coming. And he was like, "Oh, call down," and I was like, "Fuck, I'd love to train Xtreme Tour." So the two of us went down there, and as we were signing up, Strickland was like passing by. He was like, "Oh, big motherfucker." And he was like, "Oh, you're training with me today." I was like, "All right, cool." So then when the pro team session got going, it was me, him, and Ion Kudalaba just doing a positional. And like it was a good buzz. Like he didn't know I was fighting at the weekend at that stage. And we were kind of like going fairly hard at it, like, and it was good. Like the two of us were getting a
Yeah.
buzz with each other. And then about halfway through the session, something came up, and he copped that I was fighting at the weekend. And then, in fairness to him, he totally changed his buzz. Like he was just way more like there for me, Trent. Like as in, he was kind of like not going as hard in positions, that sort of thing, and just fucking sound. As in, like I was kind of really impressed by him. Like, and then
Yeah.
at the end of the session, he was asking me like, "Oh, who are you fighting?" And I was like, "Look, it's lad you beat recently. I was just watching your fight with him the other day, Krzysztof Jotko." Oh, and he was like, "Ah, Jotko, you fucking smash him. He's pussy." And fucking then like he was kind of showing me shit, like, and even like one or two of the positions we did in the positional, he could tell, like, so we were doing a couple of the American style like wrestling positions, like the referee position and things like that, and I wouldn't be anywhere near as experienced there as I would be everywhere else. And he was like, "Oh, here, look, you need to like focus on this," because I was trying to Granby roll out of shit. Like,
Yeah.
it's not a position we'd get to that often, or that we'd like do positional drills from that often. But it is very like it's applicable to MMA. So like he was kind of tightening up my game from that a little bit. So he showed me that shit after the session, and then he was giving me a few little things of like footwork drill, like, you know, just like how to close off the cage for him and that sort of stuff. It was all really good shit. So, and I was really just like, fuck, he knows me like an hour or two, and this guy can be serious info. Like, and we were getting on fairly well. So like I
It
went
was like
over.
it was like Raw Bastards Unite, yourself and Sean Strickland when you hooked up, was it?
The first like 20 minutes of the session, we were like, ah, yeah, let's go. Um, and it was good crack. But no, fucking after a little while, then like when I was over getting changed, I was just like, right, fuck, what, like, you know, it's only one person in the corner so far, and like Kieran's obviously an amazing corner to have, but like even just from a body's point of view, it's always better to have a few lads there. And I knew he was going to be like, I knew Jocko would be bringing the whole American top team and Mike Brown and all the boys, and like, you know, having Nixick and fucking Strickland in the corner there is kind of like, yeah, I got my bros too, you know.
Yeah.
So like I went over and I asked Strickland, I was like, look, would you be able to corner at the weekend? And he was like, fuck yeah. He was really cool about it. And then Nixick was there beside him, and I was like, look, I kind of came over without much of a corner. Would you be able to do it? And he was like, I've got my kid's football game that day. And he was like, let me find out what time you're on and all this sort of thing. So like he messaged Ray Sefo and was like, oh yeah, you're on at like 6-7. He was like, you're one of the later guys in the card, I'll be there. And like fucking fair folks to him, man. He gave me like Nick Six just really bang on, as in like he gave me so much time throughout the week as well. Even like we spent about an hour and a half, 2 hours doing pads on the Thursday, just kind of going over little sequences and that sort of thing. Now, I didn't apply too much of that in the fight, to be honest,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I appreciate the fuck out of the fact that he gave me that much time, and I'm a guy who's like been there 4 days, like.
Yeah, it's crazy, like how things work out. Will you know what I mean? Like the way you said it, nothing had been planned. You travel over there, and just off a random chance, you bump into Sean Strickland. You do some work, but the fact that even to be able to pick Sean Strickland's brain as a guy who fought Krzysztof Jotko already, like I mean, I don't know whether you believe in fate or chance or whatever like that, but I mean, it couldn't have worked out any better, really, couldn't it? Not?
We were sitting outside the gym waiting for an Uber, and I was like, Kieran, this feels like fate. And I was like, feels like fate that like originally Carl was actually my original corner, and Carl had to drop out because he was fighting in Hawaii then. And the fact like then Kieran coming was the reason we were in that place in the first place, and then bumping into Strickland, and just the way it all worked out, I was like, all right, there's something happening here, like was
Yeah.
how it felt to me, you know. And I really bought into that week. It was just like, right, this like everything is just aligning now. Everything is coming together, you know. And even the way the whole week went, it kind of just proved that to me. And it's like, right, something special is happening here.
Yeah, indeed. And look at the whole experience with PFL. Obviously, you got a taste of it when you were in there against Anthony Salomon on the European series over in Vegas on the big show. How did you enjoy all that experience? How was PFL? Was it obviously I've heard nothing but good things about PFL behind the scenes, how they care about their fighters. You know, you see the little video snippets that they've produced with you attached to them. You know, they're promoting their fighters well. Just seems like a really well organized organization.
Yeah, no, I couldn't say a bad word about them. Like I said, they're quite like they're just, you know what, it's a lot more human, the whole experience. You kind of feel like you're less of a product and more of a person. Like everyone you deal with treats you as a human being. You're not like pushed around being like, stand here, do this, do that. It's kind of just like, oh, Will, could you do this? Or like, you know. Um, yeah, it was good. Like I said, my experience with them so far has been nothing but good, to be honest. And like, I'm looking forward to the next couple of months, basically. And look, the biggest thing by far, because like all that stuff's nice, but it's not really what fucking pays your bills at the end of the day.
Exactly.
The PFL are giving me a chance to win seriously life-changing money. That's by far the biggest thing, man. So
Yeah.
you know, you can forgo all the other shit, like treat me like a wanker if you want to, but give that money.
That's the truth. Like you can go through all the motions and everything like that, but at the end of the day, you're going in and you're doing what you did in a couple of different other promotions, and that's getting in there to fight. So making the walk, getting in there during the fight. Look at I said it, and I'll say it to you straight to your face. I don't think it was your best performance. I don't think you showed your true self in there.
No, I didn't.
Um,
But I'm delighted
what?
that I
Yeah,
win.
and you did. Yeah, you did. You won. You won on your worst night, as they say. So imagine what you can do on their best night. That's what we've heard a couple of fighters saying recently. Talk me through the fight, how you wanted it to go, how it did go, and then a couple of the adjustments that you did have to make throughout the fight.
Yeah, so like I didn't really adjust throughout the fight, and that was part of the problem. But basically, in my head, this was kind of a tricky fight because I would kind of like to pressure Jocko. I'd have to fight outside my natural style, and my natural style is to kind of fight at range and try and get guys to commit to you. So like I pepper, I pepper, I pepper, I pepper, and then they'll overcommit, and then I'll catch. Um, I was kind of very conscious of walking him down, consistently closing the distance, pinning him to the cage, like you know, as in like I didn't want to be as close to him, but I wanted to like get him close to the cage all the time, and I felt like that overhand left would work against the cage. What I was over eager, basically. I kind of like I feel like the big problem was I wanted it too much, and like I was too pumped up early on, and like I won't say here's the problem. Like, as in that first overhand left I threw, I was like, "Fuck, that was close," and I kind
Yeah.
of fell into it as well. As in like I overcommitted to that shot, but like it wasn't far off, and he was leaning, so he wasn't protecting his like if his the chin was there. It was just like I was missing it by that much.
And you were talking to me about that. That's the kind of shot that you were hoping to land, where you were trying to lure him in a little bit by having your hands down a little bit and trying to get him committing on some of his punches so that you can counter over the top as well.
I didn't really execute it as it like I wanted to, because I wanted to like allow him to come in a little bit more. But to be honest, I went a bit too early every time. So I was over eager. I was trying to like make it happen before it was ready to happen. So I just didn't trust myself to kind of like wait and wait, and I went too early. But like at the same time, I felt like throughout most of the fight we were just canceling each other out. Like, but I was also the one pushing the pace all the time. So it's like you're canceling me out, but you're not doing anything either. So like from what like, maybe he landed like 2, 3 good clean shots where he like pulled back, like where I overcommitted, he pulled back and he caught off of that, and he scored the 2 takedowns as well. But other than that, I was kind of like, well, I'm the one driving into you. I'm the one like landing the vast majority of shots here. I'm the one who's constantly working to get something to happen, and you're kind of like stopping me from doing most of this stuff.
Yeah.
So like, as the fight was going, I kind of felt like my pace is going to break you eventually. Now, in fairness, he was good and it didn't. And even like the way he could stop the takedowns, I was pretty impressed with, because like a few times I got very deep on his legs and I was like, oh, I have you. And even like in my head, I was just like, right, just finish. And I was in a position that I felt like I could finish in, and he managed to kind of just like angle himself the right way. And even like he was really good at like digging his toes in between, like, and it's not illegal what he was doing. It's perfectly like just like the gap between the mat and the cage. And he was digging his toes into that, and he was doing it really well. And just because that, like, the sort of like the canvas has a lot more grip than any of the cages you'll train on, it was kind of very hard to pull that ankle out. And I'm like pretty good at that ankle pick, and I was in the right position to get it. But I was just like, shit, his foot is jammed in here. Like, this is a lot more like resistance than you normally get off it. And while I was like overcommitting to pulling that out, then he was kind of moving his other leg. There was good stuff he was doing, but at the same time, I didn't feel like that stuff was winning a fight. It was stopping me from winning a fight, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and even when he did go on the attack, I think with his takedowns, yeah, he was landing the takedowns, but he wasn't doing any damage. Whereas that you were getting up, you were landing off the cage, you were landing. Look, there were small punches. There probably weren't too impactful punches, but there were still enough to score in that sequence because he wasn't landing at all.
Yeah, like, look, what I'll say is, like, I'm not happy with how that fight went. I don't feel like it's fucking. Like, if you're asking me, do I think I bet the shit out of Krzysztof Jotko? No, I didn't. Like, it was a damn close fight. But did he do much to win? No. Do I feel like I got the shit kicked out of me? No. It was very, very close. Two of us kind of cancel each other out mostly. Like, and like, if I lost that fight, I would be very, very bitter. But again, if it got like scored a draw and we got a point and a half each, I wouldn't have massive complaints. It was kind of one of those fights where it's like, right, fuck, you didn't dominate him, but he didn't dominate you at all. And like, I felt like I pushed the fight more. So to me, that's kind of like my fucking, like, when I watch it back, I was a lot happier after watching it back, to be honest, because like on the night, I was very like, oof, that was 50-50. Like, watching it back, it's like, nah, you were pushing it. Like, and even like the second round was the round that I was like, oh, that could have went either way. Because honestly, like, fighting in the third round, I actually felt like I won the third round. But the 3 judges gave it to him, I saw afterwards. But like, second round, I felt like, oh, that was close, because I knew I probably won the first round. Well, again, you just don't fucking know. All the rounds were so close. I was a bit like, geez, I don't know.
Yeah.
But like, in the middle of the second round, like, watching the second round, I was like, oh, I landed a lot more. So I landed a load of leg kicks early on. I controlled like most of the cage, and like, I was pushing him back for most of that round. And then he scored that takedown with about a minute left. And that was the only significant thing he did in the whole round. And even when he got that takedown, I was the one hitting him. He was like burying his head into my chest, and I was just like landing those little up shots. Now, they're not a whole lot, but at the same time, you're doing literally zero here. And you don't have me down. You don't have me in a dominant position. We're in a position where as soon as one of us moves, we're gone. And you're just not moving. You're holding. So a couple of times when he got those like body locks, when he was in a like slightly dominant position, I was like, I don't think this is going to be enough to score for you. Like, and all you're doing is trying to maintain this. You're not trying to advance it. You're not trying to get at and out of it. So like, and I even like say the last takedown in the third round, when he got that, I was like, okay, try and mount me. I was waiting for him to try and mount or to try and do something because that was like going to be my burst because I knew
Yeah.
how, like, you know, when I was on the ground that time, I was like, shit, this is close and this could be the one that scores it from. So I was really like, I'm going to burst, I'm going to burst, I'm going to burst. And he fucking knew it. And he was just like, hold. So that's why I started like just tapping the side of his head because I'm like, okay, you're not in a position to do anything. You're like, you know, crossface underhook, boom, you're attached to me. But like, this doesn't fucking hurt. This doesn't damage me. This doesn't do anything at all. And as soon as you try to move, I'm gone. And he didn't, to be honest. I actually tried to give him my back at one stage, and he wouldn't even take my back. He still stayed heavy on the shoulder pressure. And then I managed to get like at one stage just because I turned away and I turned back in, and he adjusted his underhook, and then I got under his underhook and I got back up out of that. And then as soon as I was back up, I was on him. And like, okay, I didn't land clean. Actually, I did land one good clean shot on the break. And I like the biggest shot of the fight was in the third round, but I kind of like I followed it up too quick. I should have given that shot a bit of space. We were just exchanging it like kind of this wild brawl fucking thing. And I caught him with a half decent left hook. And I saw his legs kind of wobble. And he did like take a couple of weird steps, but I should have just given him a little bit of room. And I think that would like, look, that was the only time, like I definitely didn't get hurt. And I didn't see him getting really hurt besides that. So I think that was the only time in the fight either of us got like wobbled or hurt. But like on the whole, it's not a performance that I'm happy with. But man, fuck it, it's a win, and like it's a win against
100%.
a level opponent when I didn't fight that well. So I'm pretty fucking like coming away from it. I'm like, okay, I don't want to like be in another fight like that because it's not ideal for your career, to be honest, and it's not like something you're going to massively build a name off of. But at the same time, I fucking won.
Absolutely. I was living the moment, which you will, when you guys were in the cage when the scores were being read out, and you had your head in the air, you had your eyes closed, and you were
Yeah,
just waiting for that result to be called. What was going through your mind at that moment?
it's just like my how different my life will be depending on somebody's opinion right now. And that's the case. And look, thankfully, I feel like I did enough, and you know, two of the three judges saw it that way. But like, it's crazy that it's that close, and it is that, you know, you win or you lose based on what some guy might have seen 6 or 7 minutes ago, and like their interpretation of that, and like. I know people say, "Oh, don't leave it in the hands of the judges," and trust me, I really, really didn't want to leave it in the hands of the judges. I wish we could fight for another 20 minutes in those cases, but that's unfortunately not practical or pragmatic. So like it's one of the things about the sport. It's just like, right, I've never been in a close decision before. Every other decision I've had was I won every round, I think. And like, yeah, this was a weird feeling and a weird buzz, but like I don't want to ever go through anything like that again. I like I said, waiting
Yeah.
waiting for that decision was rough. Like
Yeah, I can see.
I'd rather play
I it was
'cause
just, yeah, I was living it through. I was like, and you could see just the joy and the elation when the result came out, and you were over there, you embraced with Kieran straight
yeah,
away. It was just a lovely moment overall.
it was brilliant. Like even like yeah, having Kieran there, and like even if you listen in the corner, Kieran's like the main guy still. Like you know, he's the one giving all the good technical advice. He's the one who's like you know driving everything. And like even after the first round, because like it was a close round still, I know that. But like when he came into the cage and I was just like in the corner, he was like, right, you're one round up. And him just saying that, like it's like, okay, now I know I'm a round up. There's no doubt in my mind. So even in the third round, when it was like, okay, the second was close. Now I didn't know this, but all three judges give me the second round at that stage. But when I was on the ground that time, when he had me pinned, it literally him telling me that I won the first round made it so much easier to just be like, just get the fuck up, commit, commit, commit. Because you're bollocks at that stage. You know, your whole body's burning up. But I was like, right, just get up, because you're gonna fucking win this if you get up. Now, all three judges ended up giving me the third round, but like I
Yeah.
did think that like that was what was gonna sway it at that point in time. And that's cause of Kieran. And like in my eyes, even just like having got back up and gone at him for those last 10 or 15 seconds, it's a huge mental thing. Like it was like, right, you can't do that to me. And I like in the fight, that's kind of how I felt. It was like, you can't do much. You know, if you try to do something, I'm gonna get out. You know, if you overcommit to anything, I'm gonna get you. So your whole thing here is to win a decision. Whereas I'm here to try and end you. Like, now, I didn't do an amazing job of that. I needed to be a lot more patient, set up those opportunities to try to finish them. But at the same time, my intention was a better fucking intention, I felt like. But look, regardless of that, man, I got the win, and now we move on, and now it's about the next guy. And I
That's
feel,
it. It's important to look at the positives though as well, but and just to go back to the decision and your emotions during that as well. It's like it wasn't just winning a fight for you, Will. Like, I mean, I heard you talking before about the sacrifices that you've made so far in your life. You know, you've committed almost your whole life here now to fighting. This is your bread and butter. This is what's putting food on the table. You know, you talked about wanting to prove to your friends and your family that, you know, you can do this, you can make a living out of this. And on top of all the training, on top of everything that comes in between with, you know, niggly injuries ahead of fights and the fight itself, you know, there's that burden that's on your shoulders to try and prove that you know you can make a living out of this. You can go in there and compete against the top level guys as well. You know, and that's the burden that a lot of other people don't see. That goes on behind the camera, that goes on, you know, when you're at home, when you're away from the gym, you know, and to go out there and get a win at the highest level, it must mean so much to you.
yeah, like, look, like, this thing is my life, man. And like, I'm 34 years old and I don't have like kids or financial stability or any of the shit that a lot of people in life do have. I'm not resentful for that at all because I get to do something I love every day. And I feel extremely lucky and I'm very grateful for that. But at the same time, man, if I didn't win this fight, that's a much tougher position to be in. You know, it's a much tougher place to justify. You know, you're not on the road to financial success. You're not on the road to anywhere that's like really gonna change your life and make you like someone who can actually go and do the things you need to, like, you know, buy a house or fucking like even like rent somewhere decent, like, you know. So like the waiting for that decision, the consequences are huge, like, you know, it's massive. And I like, it doesn't change who I am, it doesn't change the amount of effort I put in, it doesn't change any of that. But like, yeah, like, man, like, I'm fully in on this life. And if it goes badly, it goes badly. And that's on me. You know, obviously, like you're accountable to yourself in this game. But you know, making it that close is something that like it, like even now, I feel that I'm like, whoa, the next one can't be that close. I have to be better next time. You know, like it can't be this. You know, it can't be this gut wrenching every time. Like I'm not going through. You know, I'll train my balls off to not go through that shit. So like I feel like next time, just get in and smash. And that's easy to say, but I do the work to do that. I did feel like, and like this, you know, I'm not fucking just talking this. Jotko, I felt like even when I got like met off, I was like, all right, nice one. And when the opponent changed, I was like, fuck, because he's an awkward fight for me. I
Mhm.
knew that. I knew like even like when I saw the bracket and I saw that he was in it, and like him and Rob Wilkinson are the two guys, I was like, they'd be awkward. And they are like even like, look, I'm gonna probably have to fight Rob Wilkins at some stage. That's gonna be a tougher fight. But at the same time, it's a fight like, look, I already beat the guy who I was like, oh, I don't want to fight, like, or I wouldn't want to fight him ahead of the other 8 guys, or they like him or Wilkinson.
Yeah.
So like, no matter who they give me now, it's like, right, nice one, you know.
You got a chance to have a look at a couple of the other competitors in your bracket as well. Josh Silveira won a good. He performed well, I thought. Ty Flores as well. Obviously, Rob Wilkinson got the win over Thiago Santos. What did you think? I'm sure you've watched all of those fights back. What did you think of what you seen?
I'd love to get one of the boys on 6 points. So like Marthin Hamlet or Josh Silver, or yeah, Josh Silver. I'd love one of them because not only does it mean that I stopped them from getting more than 6 points, but I think the two of them are massively overrated fighters, and I think they got given easy fights early on the card. And like I was in the dressing room with the other two boys that they beat, and I was watching them. I was like, "Geez, these boys are not at the races mentally." Like, you know, I was watching the warm ups, I was watching them going out, and I was like, like I could
Yeah,
have, like, I wish we were allowed bet on it because I was like, "Well, he's gonna lose, and he's gonna lose."
yeah. You got the bird's eye view there, yeah, or the proper the eagle eye view.
And it was like it was just like, right, well, there's an easy 6 points. There's an easy 6 points, and it's like, right, come to Will. Like let's do this. You know, you're on 6 points. I'm on 3 points. Let's get two winners against each other. You know,
Yeah, makes sense. It makes sense for sure. Do you think just something that you said there? You said the lads got the easier fight and you got the tough fight. Do you feel, you know, without throwing any major accusations out there, do you feel that you were brought in there as a guy who was going to be put in there against the likes of Akhmedov? Did the PFL see you as, for lack of a better term, a token Irish guy to put in there,
yeah.
that they probably would have not viewed you to be able to compete against those guys and get to the finals? Did you kind of get that vibe?
It's hard to know exactly because, like, at the end of the day, they put me third on the card, like just below the co-main. But to be honest, yeah, look, like you saw me posting probably during the week saying like I'm not some token Irish guy here to fucking make up the numbers, and I think they know that now. But if they did think I was that, maybe they still do. Okay, cool. Give me somebody else. Watch me smash that. So, like, even like the lad I beat in Newcastle, Anthony Salamone, you know, he was 7-0, and now he's after going and like smash the guy in the first
And
round.
very good win too. A very good win in the fight after. Yeah.
Looked fucking like, you know, it was a big knee and dangerous finish, like, and like, you know, that lad's a legit fighter, and he didn't fucking get hands on me. He didn't touch me. So like, I feel like if they haven't copped that I'm legit, okay, cool. Just keep putting me in fights. That's the main thing. So like, that's what I love about this. I'm gonna get to fight again in 8 weeks. So I like, it's less perception based, thankfully. And I get like that fight wasn't the most interesting or entertaining fight, but at the same time, it was a two really legit fighters canceling each other out. And Krzysztof Jotko hasn't lost to many people. Like, he's fucking 26, and apparently as an amateur he was like 65-5. So like, the guy's got a decent pedigree, and the guy's very good at like winning decisions. And I didn't let him win a decision. Now I could have, like, look, could I have been better? Fuck yeah, I could have been better. That's kind of one of the satisfying things about it. But at the same time, give me somebody. Just give me the next guy and watch what I can do to them. And I'm like, I'm so eager and so like kind of like adamant to prove, you know, as in there's so much ambition here to prove what I am to people, and to like, and look, to make the fucking few quid out of it as well, and like to get my life into a different position, if you get me. And I know like the ability to achieve that is there, and now it's just getting that opportunity, and thankfully this is that opportunity. So like, no matter who they match me up with next, cool, great, I'm in a better
100%.
so,
100%. And there hasn't been any talks. You know, you're saying a lot. I'm not sure how much you can say. You were saying that it could be a location already set. You know, you're going again in 8 weeks, I believe, is it? There hasn't been any talk of any opponents yet, or what's going on with that situation?
opponent's not confirmed, but like the venue is confirmed, so I'll be fighting in Atlanta. But I don't know which card. Probably because I fought the first card this time. Probably the first card in Atlanta. So that's on June 8th. So that's a Thursday, and that was Thursday 8 weeks yesterday, was it? Or
Yeah.
check that, yeah. But like, it's around 8 weeks now anyway.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Like, I'm assuming you're liking the quick turnaround, because you're a fella that, to me, is probably always in camp, really. You know, you're back in the gym already. We've seen you on Instagram. You're back at her, as you said yourself. You know, so you're going straight in from one camp straight into another, and I think that suits you down to a T.
Yeah, basically. So like, look, one thing I've gotten good at as well is like, I used to just run my body into the ground. So like, say this camp, the last camp, I was taking breaks a lot. Like, and like, I say a lot. Now I'm training my balls off all the time, but I'm able to pull it back. And I know when it's like, okay, you've reached kind of red zone here, and you're like, you're pushing it to the limit for the last like 5 days. Okay, 2 or 3 really light days, 2 or 3 days of just drilling, just recovery work, just getting a massage, chill, 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 and then bring the body back up. And I did that a few times throughout the camp, and I did it even a few times when I wasn't planning on doing it. And like, there's that level of just faith and maturity there as well. It's like, look, you know how to get the best out of yourself. Don't overdo this. So I'm back in the gym already, but like, I'm not going as hard as I could be going. Like, you have a fight in 8 weeks. You want to like go, you want to train, you want to get back in. And I'm like, no, 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 no. You've traveled, you've done a lot. You had a weight cut last week. You might feel a little bit fresher, but give it that bit of time. So like, I'm glad now that I have that experience of like running myself into the ground a few times, even after fights. And say like, I talk to the likes of Lee and other young lads who like, you know, they're so eager to like train, 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 train. And I'm like, lads, okay, you're young, you can fucking deal with that for a little while, but your body will crash eventually. And I recorded all of my training when I was young lad as well. Like I was kind of like quite, good at logging what I was doing.
Mhm.
And I look back at some of my camps and I was like, geez, I was weaker at the start of that camp than I was I was weaker at the end of that camp than I was at the start of it.
Mhm.
Why is that happening? Like, why am I doing all of this training and like actually my body's getting like weaker and my performance is getting worse? It's like, well, you're not allowing your body to recover. So the biggest thing is like, if you're going hard for a few days, you're not a fucking machine. Like we're like horses. You can run a horse for a few days. You got to let that horse fucking chill, rest, give it some good food, let it recover, and then it'll go again in a few days. But like, treat yourself like a human, treat yourself like a cat that you want to make better. Like, you know what I mean? We're animals, we're not fucking machines. And
Yeah, 100%.
but we tend to be like, no, twice a day, every day, go hard at it. Like,
And it's the mentality of the fight game, though, as well, Will, because you're kind of in around that all the time, and it's easy to get sucked into that kind of attitude as well at the same time. And where you're, like you said, when you're a younger man, you recover a lot quicker and everything like that. But it's an accumulation of all that stress on your body that will come back and bite you in the ass maybe later on in your career.
I don't find my recovery slower at the moment. I just find that I use it better. So like, I probably do a little bit less high intensity stuff, but at the same time, if I needed to for a few days, I can still do, like, look, maybe I'm reaching the very end of those periods of time, but like, if I want to go hard, balls to the wall for a few days, yeah, it's still there. And like, I remember being wrecked when I was 22, 23, like all the time. So I think we look back at stuff with rose tinted glasses. Like even I was over in Xtreme Couture and it was Chris Curtis and he was like talking about like, man, I fucking feel so old all the time. All my joints hurt all the time. And I was like, man, I feel the exact same. But I remember feeling like that when I was 22 as well. Like, you only
Yeah.
remember like feeling young. You only remember the good shit. But no, like I look at some of the young lads, they're broke up and they're walking around limping about. Like it's like, yeah, you like it doesn't change that much as you get older. Like the only thing that I would notice is like, say like plyometric power, that sort of thing. Like you do feel like your joints hurt a little bit more when you do that sort of shit. That's
Mhm.
the only thing I've copped so far that's anyway different in terms of like strength, fitness, all that general shit. It's all there. It's all like still exactly where it was, if not better. Like,
Nice. And like, look, it's good that you have that mentality too, because look, it's fairly hot and heavy in the PFL. Like you're going to be going every 8 weeks. You came through, and I'm glad you came through this one relatively unscathed as well. You're fresh going into your next fight. You'll up your training over the course of the next couple of weeks. Ideally for you, it's going to be Hamlet or Silveira, but you're going to be ready for anyone that the PFL throws at you.
I'm calling for them, but I don't care. Give me anybody, man. There's what, 8 other guys that can be now. I don't give a fuck which of those 8 guys they give me. I'm gonna smash whoever they put in front of me. And like I'm gonna be in the playoffs then, and then it's proper. And now it's a big thing. And like, here's the thing. This hasn't really like taken off fully yet, I feel, but it will. And like you said, it does feel like it's fate. Things are just coming together. And even like that was a damn close fight. But one of the things, like, is my mother always used to say this. She was like, Napoleon always said, don't give me brilliant generals, give me lucky generals. And it is like, you just need a bit of fucking luck sometimes.
You
You
do.
know? So, like, I'm that lucky general now, is how I feel. And, like, even the way things worked out last week, it's like, something's happening here. Something is happening. And I'm just going to take advantage of this. I'm just going to ride with it. Like, so I don't know. I feel in this place of like, you've been working your balls off of this for 12 years now. If not more, what am I, 34? So I was fucking 21 when I started proper into this. So 13 years now. I've been going hard at this shit. And like, I finally feel like, okay, you got the opportunity to get somewhere proper. You got the opportunity to change your life the way you wanted to. And like, the skill set's always been there. The mentality has always been there. Now the opportunity is there. So it's my time to take this. Like,
100%. And it's great. You're a fantastic representative of the sport. It was great to see you there on the big occasion, getting the hand raised as well.
thanks.
I have to ask you before we go, you
Yeah.
said you're the lucky general now. Did that look go into the casinos in Las Vegas after the fact? I asked you, you said you were betting it all on red. How did it go, Will? How did you get on the tables?
I need to win the next fight. Let's put it like that. Yeah. Like we were The day after we went down to like fucking, I think it was the Bellagio or was it Caesar's Palace? We were in Caesar's Palace the day after, myself and Kieran, and we played the slot machines for about 10 minutes. And we were like, right, fuck this, let's go drinking. So we didn't do too much. We bet like probably I'd say about $20 overall, and we lost that $20. And then we were like, fuck this, we're
It
gone.
stops getting fun once you start losing. That's it. If you start well, it's not too bad.
Had that money and now it's gone. Fuck this.
Yeah, let's go and lie by the pool and have a few beers. That sounds much better.
Definitely. So.
Yeah, deadly. Well, Will, it was great to catch up with you. I was really looking forward to kind of touching base with you after the fight. It was delighted to see that you got the win. Really looking forward to seeing what's next. We don't have to wait too long. 8 weeks in Atlanta. No date fully confirmed yet, but no opponent fully confirmed yet. But we will touch base with you. We'll keep in touch. We'll try and get that news out whenever it does develop. And whether it be me or one of the lads, we'll probably touch base ahead of that fight as well. Will, I appreciate the time as always. Congratulations on the win, and enjoy the preparations and all the best in the preparations for the next one.
Cheers. Thanks for it. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you for watching this video on SevereMMA.com. For more wonderful content, please click the like, subscribe and notification bell and follow us on these social medias.